Hi friends! If you're a returning community member who's seen my content before, I'm sure you already know this, but if you're new here, hello! My name is Em Montgomery, and you might not know, but I sustained a spinal injury about 9 years ago, almost, and I unfortunately suffer from chronic pain as a result, and it affects my life every single day. I have permanent nerve damage in my legs. It's not the most fun thing. Would not recommend if you have a chance to go through life without it. But I did want to take a minute today to showcase how I still play games on days where my pain is too much to be sitting at my desk. So I figured I'd give you a little insight into what a day in the life of a streamer who has had to cancel their streams looks like. So when my back is really rough, this is what I do. So one of the things for me when it comes to finding a comfortable position to game in, you may be able to relate if you're someone with chronic pain, but it doesn't always look as comfortable as it feels, if that makes sense. On days where my spine is really struggling, something that helps is getting into a position that's as curved as possible. So I'll spend a lot of time in the bath, for instance, because the water can help with this feeling of like weightlessness and taking pressure off of my spine. But for today, it means that I'm gonna get into a really comfy looking position that's gonna seem a little silly. And I'm not exactly like stoked to put this on the internet, but we're doing honesty today, and this is an honest day in the life of someone with chronic pain trying to play video games. So, step one, I'm gonna be bringing my mobile gaming device with me. This is my S22 Ultra from Samsung. Shout out to Samsung. Thank you so much for making my life much easier when it comes to gaming. And sometimes, depending on what my back's doing, I'll use like an extra lumbar support pillow. Right now, I have a heat pad laid out on my bed. And then the best thing that I can do for my spine usually includes, I'm gonna push these here. Are you ready? I game like this. You're just gonna see my mismatched socks. Being able to stretch my legs out like this and like get my spine into a position. Sometimes I'll also kind of have to just hold myself like this. It's all about whatever helps the curve of my spine and what makes it not painful to game in. So don't mind my dog. She's not she's not used to me recording here. And right now I have my tablet propped up on the cat tree so I can get an angle where you can actually see how I lay. So I just kind of follow the lead of whatever it is that my body needs when it comes to if my legs need to be at a 90-degree angle, if they need to be straight, if I need to be curved in any way. But pretty much I have to get into a position where I can just release some of the compression in my spine, basically. So a lot of the time I'll also just lay here and game like this, which sounds silly, but it's true and it works. So we're gonna be playing one of my favorite games to play on days like today where I just can't be at my desk, and we're gonna be playing some Pokemon Unite. So I knew that I was going to make a video to show you how I've been using my Galaxy S22 Ultra, and as I started using it, you know, I didn't really know ultimately what it was that I was going to show you, because I use it for everything. You know, it's my phone. It goes everywhere that I go. It's 2022. I'm on my phone fairly constantly. Multitasking, watching streams, answering emails, drafting social content, and more than anything, taking pictures, taking videos, really using it to create the kind of content that I want to be sharing with y'all on a daily basis. But I had a really bad chronic pain day recently, and it occurred to me that the thing that I kind of wanted to share, which feels a little more personal and a little more vulnerable, and something that I just think that some of y'all might be able to relate a bit to, is what it looks like on our not so good days. As silly as it sounds, like, you know, my S22 is a big part of the fun things I get to do in my life, and it helps me capture the exciting moments, but it's also there for me to make the bad days a little bit easier. And I'm so immensely appreciative for that, because as I'm sure anyone who suffers from any amount of chronic pain can attest, finding things that help you get through the bad pain days are absolutely invaluable. I put out a call to action on Twitter to kind of ask y'all for some questions for Q&A to answer while I was going to be recording this, and I got so many that I'm going to be making a separate video to address some of them, but I wanted to go over a couple of them while we talked about this. A lot of you wanted to know what it is that I struggle with, and while I don't like going into too many details, I did injure my spine about 9 years ago, and it is something that I can treat the pain, but unfortunately it is kind of the amount of damage that it's done both to my back and to the nerves in my legs is at more of a level of just pain management rather than there being a easy peasy solution to make it go away. So it's something that I live with and have for many years, and this is a part of my routine on days where I'm just not able to sit up for long periods of time. New England fan asked, do you have a favorite go-to or downtime mobile game? And this is actually one of them. I have quite a few depending on my mood. Sometimes I like to do more story-driven puzzle games. I like, unraveling a good mystery. Sometimes I like quiet, calm simulation games where you just do a little bit every day and you come back and kind of maintain something over time. But honestly, the thing that surprised me the most when I got into mobile gaming, I knew that I was going to enjoy those types of games. I could visualize myself playing those on a mobile device. What I didn't anticipate was being able to play like actual online competitive games on my phone. And I actually got into my first ever online competitive game in terms of like having seasons and getting a ranking and things like that through mobile gaming. Actually, Pokemon Unite was the first game that I really started getting into. I was challenging myself last year to step outside of my bubble and kind of do away with preconceived notions of what kind of games I would or wouldn't like, and I started trying a bunch of new things. And one of the things that held me back from trying a game like this in the first place was assuming that I wouldn't enjoy playing on a phone. I think this is something that a lot of people think until they actually try it. I'm genuinely amazed at how many hours I've put into this game and how rarely I ever notice that I'm gaming on a mobile device. Especially with the S22, the adaptive display makes the biggest difference in the world with how bright it is. Genuinely with how, it feels silly to say, but like how many pixels there are, it doesn't feel like I'm gaming on the same device that I use to like text and make phone calls and put in my pocket to take out for a quick photo, walking down the street, whatever it might be. It just makes it a lot easier to have fun playing a mobile game when the screen is so high def and there's such minimal lag, which I'm sure if you've ever played any kind of online multiplayer thing, you know that's what you kind of look for. This was also just a really lovely question that I thought was so nice to ask from Ask Me About My Potato, who said, what are considerate things someone might do which help immensely with your chronic pain? Honestly, even reading that question made me tear up, because you've kind of already done it by asking that question. It's wild. I've had this injury for almost 9 years. You would be surprised how infrequently people just ask. People rarely just ask. And when I say ask, I mean that broadly in the sense of ask, you know, something as kind as you did of, hey, what's something that I could do to help? Or even asking just like, how are you doing today? Or do we need to move? Do we need to get a different chair? Can you sit here? Should we go somewhere else? Anything like that. Like, somebody just asking and showing that they even remember that it's something that you deal with, showing that they remember that it's something you have to take into consideration, is the thing that makes me feel the most supported and the most cared for. So thank you for asking. Ultimately, I could have focused this video in a million different ways. I could have showed you how I can stream from my device, or how I use it to record footage from vlogs, which, speaking of which, keep an eye out for a pretty cool vlog coming in the next couple weeks. I'm very excited, stay tuned. There's so much that I use my S22 for, but ultimately I wanted to go with something that felt really close to my heart and a true day in the life, something that really positively impacts me and has made a massive difference. Being able to game without feeling like I'm losing any kind of quality from a desktop or console or even a tablet, honestly, makes all the difference in the world. It makes me feel less alone and less held back by the days where my chronic pain can often make me feel otherwise. Look at that. It helped. Hi, sorry for the angle switch. We're gonna be wrapping this video up from this angle because I cannot bring myself to sit up to film this outro. My back is like busted. So we're gonna say goodbye like this. But before we do, I did want to say a massive thank you to each and every one of you who hung out for a different type of video today. If you've been around my streams or my social media, you know that I'm really passionate about mobile gaming and about introducing new people to mobile gaming as well. I think it's something that, for me personally, I know I experienced never really giving it a chance because I kind of wrote it off, assuming that devices wouldn't be able to compete with the kind of quality that we get when we play on other platforms. And so I always kind of like turned my nose up at it and said, what's the point? And in reality, it's been one of the best decisions I ever made, especially as someone who has frequent bad chronic pain days and can't be at a desk and can't always sit in a position where I can face a monitor or a TV or whatever it might be. Being a mobile gamer has, as cheesy as it sounds, like, it genuinely has completely changed my life. It has made the bad pain days much more tolerable and provided me with an outlet that I never used to have. And on days where I used to feel so much more isolated and alone and really, really struggled with not being able to do so many things, but especially, you know, the things I loved. Finding a way to game and to not feel like I was missing out as much has genuinely been life-changing. And
I don't even care that that sounds cheesy because it's true. I do want to say a big thank you to Samsung for sponsoring today's video and for everything. Like, truly for everything. I cannot stress enough what a big difference it's made in my life to have a way to game all the time, no matter what kind of shape I'm in, no matter how bad my pain is when I wake up. So if you are a mobile gamer, please hit me with some recommendations in the comments of new mobile games that I can check out. I literally play games on my S22 every single day, so I would love some new recommendations. And if you are not a mobile gamer, but you would like to give it a chance, feel free to ask any and all questions you might have. I'm always super excited to talk to people about mobile gaming, and I have a million and one recommendations for you if you're interested. So thank you so much for joining me today. I'm gonna leave this video, and then I'm gonna stay right where I am and let my heat pad work its magic. So thank you so much for joining me, friends. Thank you, Samsung, for sponsoring this video, and I'll see you on the next one.